Ever heard the term suffering and smiling? That was the exact position of Queen Azizah, who, after putting on a perfect smile that melted the hearts of her people, would go back home and cry all through the night. After fighting for 13 years to be with her one true love, the Prince of Pahang, which she thought would be a new beginning for her, ended up being one of her worst nightmares. With all the love she got from the people and her husband, she had a very dark secret that haunted her for many years. What was the secret that almost destroyed her marriage? Was she initially able to find peace at the end? To find out, keep watching the video. But before I continue, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and share this video. Azizah Aminah and her husband Sultan Abdullah, the Sultan of Pahang's love story, might strike you as the most destined and truest of all. After being strictly forbidden to be with each other for 13 good years, they never gave up on each other. But nobody tells you about the humiliations and embarrassments that take place behind the scenes. Who would have told young Azizah that the very life she sought after was only going to bring excruciating pain to her? How did all of these even start? Azizah Aminah was born on the 5th of August, 1960, into the royal family of the Sultanate of Johor, Malaysia. She is the daughter of Sultan Iskandar and his first wife, Josephine Ruby Trevorrow, an English woman. She is also the younger sister of the 17th and current king of Malaysia, Sultan Ibrahim. Princess Azizah attended the best schools in Johor for her primary and secondary education. After that, she completed a course in a teacher training college and also pursued a degree in political science and sociology at the National University of Singapore, or NUS. But during her years studying for a better future, she had just one thing on her mind, something that had given her restless nights and the promise she had made when she was just a few years younger, to keep herself for the one she loved, Prince Abdullah Tengku. Azizah met Prince Ahmad when she was only 12 years old, and he was 13 when members of his family visited the royal family of Johor. They immediately grew a platonic liking for each other, and they became best friends. During the time of Pahang's family visit, Prince Ahmad and Princess Azizah were hardly seen without each other. They had not yet understood what love was, but they knew there was just something peculiar about each other. Unfortunately, the day came for the prince to return to his home. They both knew it would be difficult to see each other again, and back then, they never had the privilege of social media, so they decided to use the only means available, letter writing. After the prince had returned to his home, he and his princess began their long journey of letter writing. As they aged, the contents of their letters became more and more mature. They began to express their true feelings for each other and express their desire to meet very soon. Unfortunately for the princess, the king got told of one of her letters, and after reading the content, he forbade them to meet. And that broke the princess's heart. The king, though, was only looking out for the image of his daughter, as she would one day become queen, so her reputation must not be in the mud. He went further to set some ground rules: no dating and no going to the movies. The king didn't stop them from sending letters to each other, but he began to scrutinize each one that came in and went out, making sure the contents were pure. From ages 12 and 13, they wrote until their early 20s. Could you imagine the hundreds of letters that would have been written within that period? And guess what? According to the princess, she kept all of them, every single one the prince had sent to her. During this period as well, Prince Abdullah completed his primary and secondary education in Malaysia. Then he attended Aldenham School in Elstree, Hertfordshire, UK, and subsequently enrolled in the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst. He also pursued higher education at Worcester College, Oxford, and Queen Elizabeth College, United Kingdom, graduating with a diploma in international relations and diplomacy. A turning point later happened for both of them through Princess Azizah's grandfather, Sultan Ismail. The pains his granddaughter had endured for years, all because she was not allowed to see her beloved, didn't go unnoticed by him. Because he loved her so much and didn't want to see her suffer any more pain, he came up with a life-changing plan that would change history. Her grandfather organized a polo tournament in Johor, knowing fully well that Prince Abdullah was an amazing polo player. In no time, the prince had heard of the upcoming game, and as you'd expect, he showed up with his team of players from his hometown Pahang. After the game, the princess met the prince, and it was as if they had never been apart from each other. So they officially began their relationship. After a short period of dating, the young couple got married on the 6th of March, 1983, 13 good years after their first encounter. The solemnization ceremony of the royal couple was held at the Sultan Abu Bakr State Mosque, Johor Bahru, where they were united in holy matrimony, a according to Islamic rites. After that, they went back to the palace in Johor to perform the traditional Malaysian prayer water ceremony. When it came time for them to exchange rings, everything felt like a dream to the royal couple. They couldn't imagine how far they'd come, especially the princess. The groom, staring into the bride's eyes, slid a rattan ring into her finger, and she kissed his hand in gratitude. What had been a long journey of hoping and praying that a day like this would come was finally a reality for them. They were now husband and wife. She was proclaimed as the crown princess of Pahang after the wedding. The reception took place at the Istana Bukit Serene, where a lot of people were in attendance to celebrate with them. They all prayed and wished their marriage would be blissful and they'd be blessed with lots of children. But nothing could have prepared Princess Azizah for the shocking problem she had all along, but never knew. A few months after the wedding, the princess began to experience difficulties in getting pregnant. Despite her desire to have children, she wasn't able to hold a baby in her womb. This made the couple paranoid and scared, so they decided to see a doctor. After he ran a test on both of them, the results finally came out, and the princess was infertile. The doctors also said even with advanced treatments, Azizah would still not be able to carry her own child. But the doctor's words were just noise to Azizah's ears. She refused to accept that her condition couldn't be reversed. Prince Abdullah was advised to divorce his wife and marry another woman who would be able to bear him children, but he refused, choosing to stick to his wife. So they decided to adopt a baby, Amir Ansar Ibrahim, who was 1 year old at the time. But she and her husband continued seeking other medical evaluations from different countries, undergoing several IVF treatments, and after 5 years of trying, a miracle happened. Azizah gave birth to her first child, named Ahmad, in 1990. But unfortunately, the infant died in less than 24 hours because he was born very weak. That led Azizah to depression. Abdullah was also frustrated. He didn't want to go another 5 years before having another baby by chance that might end up dying. So he started courting and eventually married Malaysian actress, Julia Abdul Rais, who became his second wife. She already had a successful film career and was popular at the time, but she stopped acting immediately after her marriage, focusing solely on her new home. And after a year, she gave birth to a baby girl, and then 2 more girls. Princess Azizah would put on a smile and show genuine happiness for the second wife and the kids. But when it was time for her to sleep, she couldn't. She'd weep profusely all night. But during the day, she'd wipe her eyes and continue her visits to different hospitals. After trying for 9.5 years, going through 16 IVF treatments in Singapore, England, and the United States, and having 6 miscarriages, she still persevered. And on her 17th try, she got pregnant and gave birth to a healthy baby boy named Hassan al-Ibrahim in 1995. Guess what? She didn't stop there. Azizah and Abdullah went on to have 5 more children, 3 boys and 2 beautiful girls. Azizah finally felt complete. She had everything she needed. She was happily raising her kids and taking care of her family without any more treatments when she watched a video of a father talking about the condition of his 2-year-old daughter, and that broke the princess's heart. Her name is Miss Klein Roland Jimble. She was born with congenital generalized hypertrichosis, an extremely rare condition that causes excessive facial and upper body hair, which is more commonly known as werewolf syndrome. Apart from having hair all over her face, she was also born without nostrils. At her young age, she wasn't spared from the ridicule of young children and people around her who called her werewolf. Princess Azizah decided to take the burden of the child from the parents. She pledged to pay for Miss Klein's school expenses as well as medical treatment for her condition. After the struggle she faced looking for a child, she came across many other women in her position too, and that inspired her to set up the Tunku Azizah Fertility Foundation, or TAFF, in 2004, which has sponsored fertility treatments ever since. She shared that her foundation sponsors treatment for poor and middle-income couples. "I never thought I'd go on to have 5 more, including twins," she was quoted as saying. "I know how much it costs and the emotional struggle people go through. You go for a treatment and you come home and cry. We are Asian and we don't share problems. But I decided it was time we started talking about it and doing something about it," she told The Telegraph. In 2019, Princess Azizah became the Queen of all of Malaysia, following the election of Prince Abdullah as the new King of Malaysia a few weeks after ascending the throne as the Sultan of Pahang. His reign ended in January 2024 and was passed to Azizah's elder brother, Sultan Ibrahim, the Sultan of Johor. After 38 years of marriage, from a friendship that started when they were just children, the couple are still very much together, overseeing the affairs of the state of Pahang. Queen Azizah's story serves as a life lesson to those with pregnancy problems, that no matter what the doctor says, he doesn't have the final say. What are your thoughts on this story? Leave your contributions in the comment section below. Do not also forget to like, subscribe, and share. Also, hit the notification button to get notified when a new video is released. See you in the next video.